some inspiration off this list. To make your life a little bit easier, pick the ones that resonate the most with you and leave the rest. Let's go. To put these in categories, I will leave the timestamps below so you can just jump around and see what interests you the most. Do/done list. I figured out a system for myself that works very well for me. In the morning, I write my top 3 priorities on this list, and I'm gonna work on those first. I usually try to go with the eat the frog method, where you do the thing that you avoid the most first, so it's done and you can kind of keep the momentum. And then I have a done list, and that done list is kind of cheating the system a little bit, because we all know how satisfying it is to check off things from our to-do list, right? At the end of the day, I write a done list, and on that done list, I put my priorities that I've achieved and all the other little things that didn't make it to the priority to-do list, which is very satisfying because you can tick off all the boxes. Because we all know this feeling of when we write a to-do list with 15 things and we accomplish only 13 of those, it kind of leaves us disappointed because we didn't achieve all of it. And on the done list, everything's checked off. I think it's incredibly helpful to do different tasks on different days. When we have unannounced visitors or people coming by, it's like, oh my God, the house is not clean. We have to clean everything. And doing different tasks on different days is just splitting it up and not giving yourself so much workload. So we have a separate day where we're doing the laundry, where we're cleaning the bath, when we go grocery shopping. All of that is spread out through the week, so we know what to do when, and it just kind of helps to keep the balance. Sometimes obviously it's not working out, but that's okay. At least we have a system to go back to, and I think that's the essential part of being productive. You kind of make it easy for yourself if you're having a system in place. Gratitude, especially in the morning, right when we wake up, and right before we go to bed. It puts you in a positive state of mind. So often we focus on the things we don't have that other people have, and it kind of puts us in a negative space. But if you find 3 things in the morning to be grateful for and 3 things in the evening that happened throughout your day, that really shifts your mindset and your perspective. And if you focus on gratitude, more things that you can be grateful for will flow into your life. Meal planning. This is a huge time and lifesaver, because how often have you had the conversation, what are we having for dinner? What are we having for lunch? What are we eating? It's so annoying. We try to make it a habit to do meal planning and prepping on Sundays. As I said, different days and different tasks. But of course we're not perfect, and sometimes it's just like not working out. I find it incredibly helpful to have 3 to 5 go-to meals that don't require a lot of ingredients, that don't require a lot of chopping and preparation, that you just can have in your pantry and ready to go. If you want to splurge, I think something like HelloFresh or other meal prep services are really helpful as well. I mentioned this in another video, but it's so important. Don't put it down, put it away. Especially if you're trying to keep your house, your apartment clean. Give everything its set place. Instead of just putting it down somewhere, put it away. Sometimes I catch myself when I come home from a stressful day just to throw my keys over there, and then my phone over there, and my purse over there, and then in my head it always replays the sentence, don't put it down, put it away. And I'm like, yeah, it literally takes 3 seconds to put something in its spot instead of just trying to find it afterwards because you forgot where you put it. Prepare the things you need the night before. When I go to yoga, which usually happens on the weekends, I make it a habit to prepare my yoga clothes and what I want to wear the night before. Because so often I wake up and I'm like, oh, where is my favorite leggings? Is it in the wash? Is it in the laundry bin? I don't know. I have to look for it. It's really annoying. And if you have kids, I think you can relate to that as well. It's so helpful and takes away the stress. Especially if you have to be somewhere at a certain time and then you're like, where is this? Where is that? You're just putting so much stress on yourself, which is so unnecessary. Getting a good night's sleep. I know that's so much easier said than done because we all have different work hours, we might have family, but it's so essential. One tool, I shared this in a different video and I wouldn't recommend it if I wouldn't be 100% in love with it, is the Loop earplugs. I have the Loop Quiet and the Loop Engage, but I use the Loop Quiet for sleep time. my husband's snoring and that's really hard to get good sleep. All these earplugs are super, super comfortable. They don't hurt while I'm sleeping and they reduce the noise a lot where it kind of filters out the snoring, but if my baby wakes up and cries, I still hear it. It's not like completely quiet. They're also really great for traveling if you're in the plane or just need some quiet workflow time. So I highly, highly recommend them. Not following trends. Maybe I'm just getting older and it doesn't bother me so much, but I think I could have saved so much time and money if I wouldn't have been going with the trends. Like, I think it's peer pressure or just trying to look good because everybody else is wearing it or having it and don't need it anymore, and I don't care if I'm not having the newest things that are in. It saves a lot of money, stress, and time. On the topic of saving money or money mindset, if you tend to be buying things on an impulse where you see things and you're like, yeah, I need to have that. A rule that has helped me a lot is give it some time. I like to set a time limit where I give myself at least a week to think about it. Because so many times when you think about impulse buying, you buying it, then you have it at home and you're like, did I really need that? And the answer, at least for me, was no, I didn't really. And I just spent money that I could have saved or used for something else otherwise. So I made this rule that I'm waiting at least a week. And if I can't stop thinking about it, then it's something that I really, really want. High quality items. I'm not saying that everything needs to be expensive in order to have good quality, but I'm saying, especially with this fast fashion, a lot of the things that you buy, you can't wear 2 years later because the seams are opening up or you washed it and it shrank or it lost the color or something. I think of, oh, is there something cheap or can I maybe save a little bit more and then have something for a longer period of time. There's a brand in in Germany called Deichmann. They have shoes and they were really cheap. So when I was younger, I would go there every summer or every couple of months to buy new ballerinas. I would buy new sandals. I would buy new flip-flops and heels and whatever. And usually I wore them for maybe a year and then I had to throw them out because they were falling apart or just not working. Same with like winter shoes that you need and they have to keep you warm. They were working for a year and then I had to buy a new pair. I made the decision of really splurging on high quality winter boots and they've lasted me for the last 6 years where I haven't had to buy new shoes every time. Fast fashion has no good conditions for the workers. It's landing in our landfill. It's a lot of plastic. It's unhealthy materials and chemicals that they use. If you have the option and the resource, I would recommend looking into sustainable clothing, high quality clothing, only buying what you really need. I know that discounts are so tempting where we're like, oh, I want to buy this and this. Oh, this is on sale too. I'm saving money. You didn't save money by spending something, even if it was on a discount, if you didn't have the intention of actually buying it beforehand, right? I think this marketing system now is like they're so smart in getting in our brains where it's like, oh, this has a 20% discount and if you purchase $20 worth more, then you get free shipping and then you get an extra bonus on top and all of that. Where it's like, did I really need that? No. Actually just buying the things I actually need, having a list of things that I want to buy and then really just focusing on those. Turtleneck that I have, I think about 3 of them. And it helps to reduce the amount of time I'm standing in front of my closet so much because that literally goes with anything. If I wanted to put it on baggy clothes with that, that works too. It's just so much easier than standing in front of my closet and thinking about all the things that I could be wearing. Day-to-day occasions, if I have to look nicer, this black turtleneck works perfectly and it just saves so much time. My excuse for going out and buying coffee was always like, oh, I was out anyway, you know, it's kind of a ritual. It feels nice if somebody else makes coffee for you. If I'm really honest, it's probably okay if I do that once a week. I don't have to have it every single day and it saves a lot of money. It saves a lot of gas or time, whatever you're having to do. And the truth is you can probably make it at home with the same ingredients and it costs you way less. On the same topic of coffee, especially if you're busy or you're a mom. I don't remember the last time I was able to drink my coffee warm. So one of my good friends sent me a thermos cup. I don't even know if that's the actual English word. I'm gonna research and put it down. This thing is amazing because it keeps my coffee warm for 8 hours, and even if I don't have the time to drink it right away because something comes in between, which happens so often, then I can just close it, it will keep it warm, and I can drink it later. And it also comes with like a really handy button so it doesn't leak. I'm gonna try to find the link. I will put it below. It's a lifesaver and makes drinking coffee at home way more fun. Reducing screen time, especially on your phone. We all want to spend less time on our phones, and it's sometimes really, really hard to do that, right? Because it's so tempting. Put it in focus mode, put it away, or just limit your time, especially on social media. There are so many other things that we could spend the time with instead of just doomless scrolling. On that note, turning off notifications. That has helped me so much. I always tend to see a notification, I hear the tone, and then I would run and be like, oh, this is important, is it? And then I'm back to scrolling again. So I made it a habit to just turn it off. I even put in a setting where at a certain hour, do not disturb kind of thing, where no notification comes through unless I open the app, and that has been such a game changer. When I know I have things to do and they're important and I need to be like in a deep work state of mind or just need to be really, really focused, I put my phone in a different room because I know how tempting it can be to just keep back on your phone, just scroll a little bit, answer that text message, or just checking your emails and interrupting your workflow, and it doesn't help. Allowing myself to change my opinion. I always thought that once I make a decision, I have to stick with it and I just have to go with it and that's it. But we're all evolving, we're growing, and we're allowed to change our minds. So if it makes your life easier to change your opinion, then do that, because you're the one that makes decisions for your life and nobody else does. When something doesn't work out the way we wanted it to, or we made a mistake, or we failed, it's so easy to get into this negative self-talk. Positive self-talk can really flip the script. I always say this, but be kind to your mind. Positive affirmations really help. It is important to allow yourself to fail a lot. This is how we learn, this is how we grow. Just by allowing yourself to do these things, by failing, by experimenting, by trying out new things, just makes life easier because you don't have to be so hard. You give yourself the permission to fail because you know this is how you learn and this is how you grow. Another very, very important part is allowing yourself to be your true self, not trying to impress others or putting on a mask just so others would like you. It's a time saver, it's an energy saver, because you're doing yourself a disservice by pretending to be someone you're not. And it's also not fair for the other person because they don't really know the true you. And I think you should be unapologetically you, and that's how you can find your people, your circle. If you don't like something, stop complaining and just speak your mind and say that you're not okay with things. How much time have I wasted just trying to be the people pleaser and to not complain, just trying not to speak my mind, not to speak out what was bothering me. And then in my head I was like, oh my god, I hate this, why are we doing this? But I was just not confident enough to actually speak my truth. And it doesn't help if you're complaining afterwards, if the situation's passed already. Save yourself some time, speak your truth. Obviously do that in a kind and friendly way. You don't have to be rude or mean. You can simplify your life by not making excuses for yourself. How often did we say we don't have the resources, we don't have the time, we don't have the money? While all of these things are very valid, I think sometimes it's just good to check with yourself and be like, is this actually true, or am I making an excuse for myself? And if you can be really truthful to yourself, you can stop wasting time and be like, okay, I think I'm making an excuse. What do I need in order to get this thing done? Which brings me to the next point, less but better. I also mentioned this in another video, and this is so helpful, especially if we're in like this motivation, self-help, self-development bubble. We always want to be better, we want to do better, and then we have really, really, really big goals. Think about New Year's resolutions, right? You're having all the motivation in the beginning, and by week 3 you're like, ugh, do I really want this anymore? And the whole thing about less but better is trying to do the least amount, the minimum amount that you know for sure that you can stick to. If you want to start a journaling routine, instead of saying I'm going to journal for 5 minutes every day, maybe just write a sentence and then stop. You know for yourself that you could do more, but it's about the small things that you can actually do, even if you don't feel up for it, even if you have no motivation, because motivation can only get you this far. You just need to make it a habit. You need to have strategies and routines in place. We have to let go of being a perfectionist. In order to succeed with this new goal, I have to be perfect every single day. Be open, try new things, allow yourself to fail, and do less. Accepting compliments. This was, it still is so hard for me. I always thought when people give me compliments that they have a secret agenda. Like, what do they want from me? What do they need from me? Why are they being nice? I always thought that people are being nice to me, saying compliments, that they would want something in return. And if somebody says something nice to you, just accept it, say thank you. You don't have to comment a lot on it. Just accept it, say thank you, and move on. Asking for help or allowing yourself to be helped. I just can speak from my own experience. I'm a person who always wants to do everything by herself. Maybe because I experienced being let down by other people, where I was like, oh, they don't do it right, let me just do it myself. And over time that became such a habit where I just had the feeling I had to do everything by myself. But if somebody offers you help, it doesn't mean you're weak. It doesn't mean you're not capable. It's just making your life easier. So if somebody offers it, please accept it. Don't be like me. One thing that was really, really mind-blowing, I went to a reading of John Strzelecki. I love his books. He wrote The Cafe on the Edge of the World, and he asked the audience, who of you enjoys helping other people? And everybody raised their hand. And then he asked the other question, which was, who of you like to accept help from other people? And almost no hand was raised in this audience, including mine. Then he said something very groundbreaking, and he said, why are you so selfish? And everybody was like, oh, I'm not selfish. I just said I was being helpful. And he's like, but do you know the feeling that you get when you help other people? You feel like you're doing a service to this other person, and you're just doing it because you want to help, right? And it feels good to support somebody else. And he's like, why are you so selfish that you don't allow another person to feel the same when they're helping you? And I was like, oh my God, it's true, right? It's true. Why is it so hard to accept help, but we would offer it right away? So that's just something you can think about. Not overscheduling myself, not spreading myself too thin. I used to be always a person that said yes to literally anything. Again, being a people pleaser or recovering people pleaser, where it's like, yeah, of course I can help and I'll be there. And of course, even though I was like, I don't really want to. I wasn't there fully. I wish I had said no. I wish I could have spent some time resetting, relaxing, not doing anything at home. Save your time. Don't spread yourself too thin. If it's not an immediate full body hell yeah, it's a no. Going back to the people-pleasing self, where you would spread yourself too thin, or agreeing with other people and just saying yes to social events even though you don't really want to. If somebody asks me now, hey, are you available? I have this and this event. I take my time to think about it. That's another thing where I don't have to make my decision right away. If I think about it and it's like a maybe, I don't know, then I just don't do it. On that note, setting boundaries saves a lot of time and simplifies your life by just saying no and being okay that the other person might be not okay with your answer. You're not responsible for the other person's emotion, reactions, and feelings. Of course, again, doesn't mean we need to be rude or mean. They're responsible for their own feelings and we are responsible for ours. And say no when you don't feel like it, because it doesn't do anybody any good if you're saying yes to things and you're not really fully present, if you're not really there, or wish you would be somewhere else. Stop gossiping. This is mostly for yourself, but also for other people. If you've been in a circle where it's common to just talk bad about other people, you just take a step back and not interact with it. It doesn't do you any good if you talk about other people. It kind of puts yourself down because you're not gaining anything from talking bad about another person. And while I know this can sometimes give you like this false sense of community and belonging, it actually just hurts you and it doesn't help you in any kind of way. So a little side note to be kind to other people too, because we never know what other people are going through. What is also helpful is protecting your energy, especially if you're a highly sensitive person or you're an empath and you feel like a sponge that is walking around and just taking up everything, other people's emotions and reactions, and kind of have the trouble of deciding what's your own and what's the other person's. And if you need a little bit more help on that, I have a video about it, which I think you would enjoy. Editing Miri here, I realized I forgot 3 points on my list and I really wanted to include them. So here we go. First one being savings. Pay yourself first. What I mean by that, at the first of each month, a specific amount gets taken out of my account into a separate high yield savings account. Sometimes we think, oh, I'll just save what is left over at the end of the month. But I found paying myself first, putting my savings in first, is a better guarantee to actually have the amount saved each and every month. And it's automated, so I don't have to think about it. Next point is create a passive income stream. If you're going on YouTube, there's probably a million videos about how I made a passive income of this many $1,000s. I think it's not as easy as they make it sound like. I think personally creating a digital product or having any kind of passive income is actually a lot of work up front, but it's so worth it. So if you can find something in your niche or in your work that you can make into a digital product that can be turned into a passive income, that's really, really helpful. And last but not least, taking a break from the news. This has helped me so much with my mental health. We all know that news outlets are usually focusing on the negative news, and if you're already personally not in a positive mindset, you hear all of that, it just gets you anxious. Doesn't mean you need to cut the news off completely. You can still be in the know, but just maybe limit it a little bit. 2 bonuses, which has to do with like giving gifts to other people, which can also be so helpful and simplifying things. And that is, if you're having trouble like thinking about gifts to give to other people, be really present when you hang out with them, and maybe they just mention something that they really like, and I write it down in my notes app where I have my friend on one side, what they like in another, and then when you gift it, they're like, oh, you really paid attention, and it's just so cool to see. And the last bonus I have for you is also about gifting, which my husband and I made a priority because I personally rather have experiences as a gift than materialistic things. Of course, that can be a little bit more expensive sometimes, but it doesn't have to be. You can gift another person a picnic in the park and you're just organizing the food, or invite them to a movie together that you both enjoy. Just kind of helps you bond with the person way more. We talked a lot about being confident and standing up for yourself. If you want to learn about the mistakes that hurt your confidence, I think you should watch this next. I'll see you soon.